Imagine being one of the smartest people in the world, but struggling to tell what's real from what's not. This is the incredible true story of John Nash in A Beautiful Mind. Our story starts in 1947 at Princeton University, one of the best schools in America. A young man named John Nash arrives as a new student. John is incredibly smart, especially in math, but he's different from other students. He's very focused on one thing. He wants to come up with a big, original idea that no one else has thought of before. John isn't interested in making friends or having fun like the other students. He's there to solve problems and make a name for himself. When John meets other students, he feels awkward. These students include Martin Hansen, who is confident and becomes John's rival. There's also a group of students who are all good at math. John doesn't want to hang out with them. Instead, he keeps to himself and starts working on his own ideas. He spends a lot of time thinking, writing equations on his dorm room windows, and looking for patterns in everything around him. John's life changes a bit when he meets his roommate, Charles Herman. Charles is the opposite of John. He's outgoing, friendly, and loves to have fun. Charles tries to help John relax and enjoy life outside of math, but John finds it hard to understand why Charles doesn't take things as seriously as he does. Despite their differences, John and Charles become friends. Charles helps John feel less lonely, even though John is still mostly focused on his work. As John continues his studies, he becomes obsessed with finding a new, original idea. He spends hours working on his own, refusing to follow the same path as other students. His professors notice that he's very smart, but they worry because he hasn't produced anything new yet. John doesn't want to just repeat what others have done. He wants to discover something completely new and important. One day, while out with his fellow students, John suddenly has a breakthrough. They are talking about how to approach a group of women at a bar, and John realizes something important. He figures out that the best outcome isn't when people act selfishly, only thinking about themselves. Instead, the best outcome happens when everyone works together and considers what's best for the group. This idea, which John calls governing dynamics, challenges the existing Nash equilibrium theory, which says people act only in their own self-interest. This discovery is a huge moment for John. He shares his idea with his professors, and they are amazed. They finally see how brilliant John is. His idea is so important that he gets a job offer from the Rand Corporation, a place where super smart people work on problems related to national security. It seems like John's dream of creating something original has come true. But as John's work life improves, his personal life starts to fall apart. He becomes more withdrawn, even from his few friends. John's mind, which once helped him see patterns and solve problems, now starts to trick him. He begins to see things that aren't real and feels like he's being watched all the time. During this time, John meets a man named William Parcher, who says he's a government agent. Parcher tells John that he's needed for a secret mission to decode messages hidden in newspapers. These messages are supposedly sent by enemy spies, and only John can figure them out. John, who wants to feel important, agrees to help. He becomes obsessed with this mission, spending all his time looking for hidden codes. John's obsession grows, and he starts to believe that enemy agents are following him. As John's delusions get worse, he also starts seeing and talking to people who aren't real, like Charles, his college roommate, and Parcher, the government agent. These people become a big part of John's life, influencing what he does. But John doesn't realize that they aren't real, and his behavior becomes more and more strange. Despite his strange behavior, John meets and falls in love with a student named Alicia Lard. Alicia is smart, kind, and sees the good in John. She believes in him and his genius, even when others find him odd. They get married, and Alicia becomes John's biggest supporter. But their marriage is soon tested as John's mental state gets worse. Alicia starts noticing more and more strange things about John, his obsession with the secret project, his constant paranoia, and his unpredictable mood swings. She tries to help him, but John is convinced that his work is too important to stop. Things get really bad when John, in a moment of delusion, almost hurts their baby because he believes enemy agents are after him. Desperate to help, Alicia takes John to a hospital, where doctors diagnose him with paranoid schizophrenia. This means that John has been seeing and hearing things that aren't real. Charles, Parcher, and others he thought were real are actually just in his imagination. The secret project, the codes, and the enemies are all things his mind created. John is shocked and heartbroken to learn that his genius is mixed with madness. After the diagnosis, John's life becomes even harder. He undergoes a treatment called insulin shock therapy, which is supposed to help his schizophrenia, but is very harsh and painful. The treatment affects John's mind, making him feel confused and disconnected from the world. He's no longer the brilliant man he used to be, and this loss is hard for him to accept. John struggles to keep going, and his relationship with Alicia is also strained. Despite everything, Alicia refuses to give up on John. She stays by his side, helping him through the worst moments. Alicia's love and dedication keep John going, even when his mind seems to be working against him. But John isn't ready to give up either. He decides to fight his illness and tries to take back control of his life. He makes a tough choice to stop taking his medication, even though it's risky, because he wants to think clearly again. This worries Alicia and the doctors, but John is determined. He teaches himself to ignore the hallucinations, learning to live with the voices and visions that used to control him. Years go by, and John slowly rebuilds his life. He returns to Princeton, not as a professor, but as a quiet man who spends his days working on equations in the university's hallways. He's no longer the young, ambitious man he once was, but he finds a sense of calm in his work. The people who once saw John as a strange figure begin to respect him for his perseverance and dedication. Then, something amazing happens. In 1994, John is awarded the Nobel Prize in Economics for his work in game theory, the same work he did before his illness took over. The Nobel Committee recognizes how important John's ideas are, even though he went through so much. Winning the Nobel Prize shows that John's genius never truly disappeared, and that his ideas have made a huge impact on the world. He realizes how important Alicia's love and support were in helping him survive his struggle with schizophrenia. Without her, he might not have made it through. John also accepts that his illness was a part of him, something that both challenged and shaped him. The film ends with John standing in front of a class of young students, sharing his knowledge and experiences. It's a powerful reminder that even when life is incredibly hard, the human spirit can still find a way to succeed and find peace. The final image is of John and Alicia leaving the university together, hand in hand, showing that their love and strength carried them through even the darkest times. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed reliving these moments, please show your support by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Don't miss out on more captivating recaps like this one. Until next time, stay tuned for more epic adventures.